Goeienaand. Good evening, fellow South Africans from a balmy Brisbane. It's a bit overcast and we'll probably have a bit of rain later, which would be nice. But what I've got here is a story which just compounds the guilt of the Shivambu brothers with the VBS Mutual Bank scandal. And what actually happened is that, along with the over 16 million rand in illicit payments made to one Brian Shivambu, VBS approved a 1.46 million rand home loan to Brian Shivambu, even though he's basically can't even afford to pay a car loan. And what's come out in recent days is that there's an email trail. Now, do you remember what happened with Floyd Shivambu a couple of weeks ago, where those two computers went missing? And I said at that time that and he claimed they were stolen, remember? But he never ever actually lodged a complaint or went to the police station about it. And it was not just two computers, there was two mobile phones he said were stolen. And at that time I said, that's because of the information on there that would lead to his arrest. So what he did was he got rid of them, rather like Hillary Clinton did with acid washing her emails. But unfortunately for one Floyd Shivambu, emails have now come to light. And leaked emails show EFF Deputy President Floyd Shivambu used his influence with VBS Mutual Bank's management in order to get a VBS home loan to buy a house for his parents to live in. The 1.46 million rand home loan is registered to the slush fund his brother Brian Shivambu operated. Now, this is corruption at the highest level. Despite not qualifying for a loan, VBS Mutual Bank gave Brian Shivambu company Skameka a 1.46 million rand home loan after his brother Floyd Shivambu had private discussions with VBS chairman and kingpin in the bank robbery, Chifiwa Matodzi, and the paper trail or the email trail actually confirms this. The VBS home loan was given to Skameka Trading on top of the illicit 16.1 million rand that Brian Shivambu received in a fronting scheme on behalf of his brother, EFF President Julius Malema, and the Economic Freedom Fighters, all of it funded by the poor and vulnerable VBS depositors. So what happened in effect with the VBS Bank, which has gone belly up now, the savings of the poor Africans have just disappeared, and that money is now in the hands of the political, black African political leadership, and we're talking mainly about the EFF and the ANC. They both had their hands in the pockets there. Okay, let's continue. The house situated in Witpoortjie, West Rand, Johannesburg, was registered to Skameka as an asset at the behest of Floyd Shivambu and used for the benefit of the Shivambus in a questionable deal that was not reported in the investigative report entitled The Great Bank Heist, focusing only on a trail of illicit VBS funds utilized for two houses and some cash seemingly directed towards these houses. Scorpio has traced 2.3 million rand in VBS funds diverted towards the personal interests of Floyd Shivambu as set out and explained here. The elderly Shivambu couple moved into the Witpoortjie house in October 2017. They moved out of the house in November 2018, sources confirmed. The couple was left vulnerable when their son's slush fund, Skamika Trading, was revealed as an extremely strategic cog in the VBS robbery. Scorpio found no evidence that the Shivambu parents were aware that the house presented to them by their sons was funded by the country's poor and vulnerable. Scorpio will therefore not reveal the names nor the house address. The Great Bank heist reported by advocate Terry Matau and law firm Werksmans, dated 30th September 2018, highlighted how the poor was robbed to fund the lifestyle of select businessmen and politicians, including the EFF. The report focused on the first-tier receivers of funds flowing out of the bank in a variety of illegal schemes, and did not necessarily mention the true beneficiaries of the bank robbery, which among many, including Floyd Shivambu, Julius Malema, and the EFF. This is a story about additional money also stolen from the poor floating towards the EFF-linked slush fund and proxy Skameka Trading for the benefit of the Shivambus. But more of the facts recovered by Scorpio highlight crucial questions about the EFF deputy leader's influence and participation in the Great Bank heist. Our investigations further strengthen a recurring theme where Floyd Shivambu uses proxies and fronts in order to conceal his business deals. Floyd Shivambu commented on the Scorpio investigation saying, and this is Floyd Shivambu, "Fraudulent activities are dealt with by the criminal justice system and not some imaginations of a lousy journalist. I think your narrative is bullshit and pure drivel, driven by narrow obsession. Please give up the proof that I received 10 million rand from the VBS." He did not deny that he had private discussions with the chairman of VBS Mutual Bank, Chefiwa Matotsi, nor that he used his influence with several VBS bank managers in order to get the VBS home loan, but referred questions about the Vitpurki house to his brother, Brian Shivambu, the scapegoat. Brian Shivambu did not react to questions relating to whether Floyd Shivambu used his influence in order to get the loan, but answered in this way to the direct question. This is Floyd Shivambu speaking. "I applied for a housing loan and I was given the loan and I am paying for it." Now, remember, Brian Shivambu is the guy who lost his car because he couldn't make the payments. How is he making payments on a 1.46 million rand home loan? You know, this is astonishing. Floyd Shivambu initially spat fire and brimstone in late October, threatening Daily Maverick with legal action after investigation fingered him as a major beneficiary of the illicit VBS funds flowing through Skamika Trading. When questioned on the status of legal action against journalists, he said, Floyd Shivambu said, "I will never sue stupidly and foolishness because I just dismiss their lies and fiction. Your line of reporting is to be honest, foolish, and I will never dignify such with legal actions." Now he's contradicting himself, but anyway. He further denied ever living in Pinehaven, Fourways House, which investigations indicate is connected to diverted VBS funds. I covered this story before. You might recall that that's where he had the computers stolen, and then he gave that flat as the address where the computers were stolen and the mobile phones, etc. But once it came out that something like 400,000 rand stolen from the VBS had been used directly to pay for the deposit for that apartment, he then denied he ever lived there because that associated him with the VBS. Now, I have covered that story before. Okay, so let's just look further into the situation with Floyd Shivambu and his parents' house. The first money transaction to Scamika Trading was an illicit or illegal 5 million rand payment on the 8th of June 2017 from the VBS-linked company and front, Malibongwe Petroleum, the company's bank statement shows. Soon thereafter, 3 Shivambu siblings started house hunting along with their parents in the West Rand. A woman introduced herself as Floyd and Brian Shivambu's sister, included her name and contact details on the property documents. Scorpio found no evidence that she was aware of the origin of the illicit funds. The Shivambu siblings settled on one of the most affluent houses in the area, a house which their elderly parents adored, sources said, and an offer to purchase was signed in September 2017. Floyd and Brian Shivambu's parents, Floyd and Shivambu's private email and telephone numbers are included on these documents, along with contact details for their parents. The deal would have been initially concluded as a full cash sale, documents confirmed by sources. But the brothers Shivambu wanted to start a new business in Soweto, were busy buying houses for themselves, and were busy sending almost a third of Scamika's 16 million rand to Mahuna Investments, another slush fund masquerading as a company, and it was linked to one Julius Malema. So Brian Shivambu asked VBS for a home loan instead. He did not qualify for a 1.46 million rand home loan, and a credit check labelled him a very high risk. Floyd Shivambu, however, seems to have ironed out the creases during a private conversation with the VBS Bank chairman, Chifiwa Matotsi. Matotsi was fingered as robber-in-chief and a central figure in the misappropriation of VBS funds that caused the bank to implode, as shown in the Great Bank Heist. Matotsi was unreachable for comment. Why is that surprising? Brian Shivambu mentioned the meeting between brother and Matotsi in an email dated 19 September 2017 to then VBS credit manager David Ntlokwe. Brian Shivambu wrote, "Please receive the attached documents referred by Matotsi following the discussions Matotsi held with Floyd. It's about the house purchase. It's urgent and should be registered a mortgage as soon as possible." Neither Floyd nor Brian Shivambu disputed the veracity and accuracy of the email. The documents attached to the email related to the house purchase and included the same very high-risk credit report and bank statements. Within 2 days, on the 21st of September 2017, a property valuation was finalized and VBS's Ntlokwe approved the loan. 3 curious facts about the bond must be highlighted, because it speaks to the influence Floyd Shivambu had with the VBS bank managers. Point number 1. The bond was approved on condition that Brian Shivambu's 3 Capitec loans be settled. Despite Brian Shivambu signing the agreement, these capital loans, then totaling just under 30,000 rand, have not been settled. In fact, his debt has since grown to about 70,000 rand. 2. Handwritten notes on the bond approval documents state that Brian Shivambu's average turnover a month is 2.5 million rand, which equals 30 million rand a year. These notes seem to have been added to bolster Brian Shivambu's application for the home loan, yet the fact that a credit evaluation found him a very high-risk client was not deleted from the documents. Another contradictory fact is the income evaluation. Average turnover a month was based only on Scamika Trading Bank statements. Scamika's only income was proceeds of crime derived from various fraudulent deals aimed to fleece money from the VBS Bank, as shown by Scorpio in a previous investigation. Bank managers were in on the deal and aware of this. And thirdly, a verified address accompanied by a utility bill of the owners of Scamika was a requirement for the bond consideration. Brian Shivambu submitted the address in Grosvenor Road, Bryanston, Johannesburg, where Floyd Shivambu had rented before his short-lived stay in the Pine Avenue complex in Fourways. This fact again suggests that Floyd Shivambu was the real face behind Scamika, with his brother as a proxy and a front. Despite glaring facts that suggested Brian Shivambu should not have received a home loan valued at 1.46 million rand, VBS registered the loan to Scamika anyway. By December 2017, the property was registered at the deed office as an asset to Scamika, but not before there was another hiccup. Finalization of the transaction stalled towards November 2017, again necessitating Floyd Shivambu's personal intervention. From his personal email account, Floyd Shivambu sent an email dated the 21st of November 2017 to VBS's Ntlokwe, the conveyancer, attorneys, the property agents, and his siblings. "Greetings," Floyd Shivambu wrote in the email, date-stamped or time-stamped 11:56 a.m. "Let's please finalize the whole transactions as urgent as possible. David Ntlokwe, please assist with the process that is needed from your VBS side. Regards, NFS." The initials stand for Nico Floyd Shivambu. Neither Floyd nor Brian Shivambu disputed the veracity or accuracy of the email. 9 working days later, on December the 4th, 2017, the house was registered at the deeds office to Scamika's name. The Witpoortjie house is still registered in the name of Scamika, and according to Brian Shivambu, he is paying the bond. Replying to a question over whether he serviced a 1.46 million rand loan, Brian Shivambu said, "Yes, I have a housing loan, which is now with Nedbank, and I pay the monthly installments. It's up to date." He did not mention that the bond was not up to date while registered at VBS. Scorpio has not yet found anything that proves Brian Shivambu is indeed servicing the bond. He may have an alternative facility registered to his other businesses. If so, the source of the funds is uncertain. Brian Shivambu did not dispute that his brother was a major driver behind the deal, nor that he acted as Floyd Shivambu's proxy and front. Asked about whether the loan had been serviced, Floyd Shivambu said, "I don't have a loan in Witpoortjie." Factually, this is correct. However, Scorpio has established a recurring theme where Floyd Shivambu is always once or twice removed from the actual paperwork. He did not dispute being the true driver behind the deal, but deflected questions over the Witpoortjie house and other businesses to his brother. In addition, Scamika paid more than 100,000 rand between October 2017 and June 2018 towards the bond of the Witpoortjie house and the occupational rent, but did not keep to the agreement with VBS and paid more than 50,000 less than what was owed to the bank in this period. There is no evidence of repercussions for Scamika's failure to honour the agreement with the bank. These omissions seem to have been forgiven because of Scamika's importance to the VBS looters. In November 2018, Scorpio revealed that Matotsi labelled Scamika an extremely strategic account in a WhatsApp discussion with another bank manager. Skamika's bank statements further show that about 200,000 rand was spent on house essentials, cutlery and cleaning, bedding and rates and taxes. The timing suggests that these housing expenses are also linked to the Pine Aven flat in Fourways. Mail and Guardian's Tandoxolo, Jika and Sabella Skiti revealed on the 30th of November that more than 400,000 of illicit VBS Mutual Bank funds were used as a deposit to purchase a 2.7 million rand townhouse in Fourways in Johannesburg. And that was purchased by one Floyd Shivambu. According to the M&G sources, Floyd Shivambu lived in this flat using his brother Brian Shivambu as a proxy and front for the deal. Scorpio independently verified that Floyd Shivambu indeed lived in the flat, and he was robbed at a Bryanston house that he had been renting. Floyd Shivambu has vehemently denied to Scorpio that the M&G that he ever lived at Pine Aven, despite Sunday World quoting him in the affirmative. Now, what actually happened there was that Floyd Shivambu told the paper that he actually lived in the flat, but as soon as the VBS money being used as a deposit came out and was publicized, he then denied any association with the flat. Go figure. When M&G visited the property and dialed the Shivambu's unit number into the complex's intercom system, it read FLO for Floyd. Simply put, documents show that Floyd Shivambu used his influence with VBS bank managers in order to get a house loan registered to Skamika for the benefit of his parents. The bond installments for this house were not diligently paid, and when they were paid, illicit VBS funds were used. So they actually used money stolen from the VBS to pay back the VBS, the interest on the loan. That's a great plan if you can make it work. And of course, none of these guys have been arrested or charged. You know, everybody knows what's going on, but they're above the law. That's what's actually happening here. In several instances that include the family's house or the parents' house and the Pine Aven flat, Brian Shivambu was used as a proxy and a front in the deals, while Floyd Shivambu was the driver and influencer behind the deals. In this particular investigation, Scorpio traced 2.3 million rand in VBS funds diverted towards the personal interests of Floyd Shivambu. This figure is collated from the evidence above and includes the Witpoortjie home loan, bond and other payments towards the Witpoortjie houses, as well as the payments towards the Pine Aven house. Well, I can guarantee you there's a hell of a lot more money that was taken from the VBS Mutual Bank by Floyd Shivambu, the EFF, Julius Malema, and all these corrupt officials. And let's not forget that Julius Malema is the guy who gets up in front of his fans and says, "We are the only party which is not corrupt." That guy is a psychopath. All right, guys, have a great day, and let's wait to see when these goons, these EFF goons, are going to be charged. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Bye for now.